What is going on, you guys? Uh, so, if you watch the last type of video like this we did with the 1983 Wrestling All Stars, the live bidding, live reactions, all that, we're doing it again. The same seller put up another large lot, this time the 1982 Wrestling All Stars Series B, which kind of makes me feel like in the future there might be he might release a Series A, which the prices that you're going to see here in a minute on Series B are already kind of make the 1983 look like chump change. So I can only imagine what the Series A would bring in the future if he did that, if he or she did that. So we'll just get to it so this intro isn't forever long. So let's see here. We'll just go through these real fast. I'll kind of just do quick on if I'm going to bid, if I'm not going to bid, so on and so forth. So Rick Martel, I just did that large signing with Martel where I got, I think, 8 cards signed. So we'll pass on that. The Tony Gurria, he's supposed to be doing a signing here like really soon. I just mailed off, I think, 8 or 9 cards to him, which I'm really surprised that that card right now is going for $50. All of these, looks like they all have about 8 hours left. Today is November the 15th, 2021, at around 10 in the morning. So all these in tonight. So surprised about that. The Bob Rupp, not super surprised about that. He wasn't a big name guy, but there just isn't a lot of his signed stuff out there. So that's at 50. Greg Gagne, I was told he signs TTM. I just don't have the stones to send him. I think I only have 2 of his cards. I just don't have the stones quite just yet. Maybe if I get 1 or 2 more cards, I'll send a TTM his way. Jumpin' Jim Brunzell right below him is at $50. He does signings quite a bit. I got a ton of him last year, so I won't be after him. There's a small chance I might go after the Gagne. If I do, I probably won't film it. It would probably just see what I could get if it goes, kind of cheap. But this is going to be the first one right here that I'm going to go after, the Chief J Strongbow, which, I'm tickled to death that it's at $61 right now. Oh, that's why right there, because it says trading card. I didn't notice that till this second. That's probably why it's going for that price. But nonetheless, we'll still go after that. It looks like a real card. It has wear and tear and discoloration and all that stuff in the edges. Yeah, it looks like a 1982 Wrestling All-Stars to me. So we'll go after that one. Here's another one that we definitely are going to go after, the CD Jones, Special Delivery Jones. Look at this signature on this card. It seems to me that if you were to get this thing PSA DNA authenticated, or not authenticated, but graded on the signature, that it would get a 10. I mean, that signature is just smoking hot. So going to go after that, and it's already at $125. Moving on to Brad Reigns. I don't know. There's a lot of, I don't have a ton of money in the old bank account, you know what I mean? And so I'm just trying to really hone in on the stuff I really want. And so he's probably going to be sitting on the outside looking in. Killer Khan, I do have a couple of his cards signed. I have a raw one and one in a Beckett slab. I'll be watching it, but I'm not going to bid on it. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat does signings all the time. He did do TTM for a while, but as TTMers go, we took advantage of that situation, and I think he has shut it down. So the Paul Orndorff, Mr. Wonderful right here. Won't be going after this one, although I do think this is a great card. I just bought one not too long ago. It's in a really, really large PSA slab for some reason. So I would consider this an upgrade, but now's not the time to be upgrading. Tito Santana's at $75. Tito is on the signing scene a lot. He signs a ton. Now, granted, these cards don't come up a lot raw and unsigned, but I'm actually pretty happy to see that it's at 75 bucks. It's really good for him. So next, Sergeant Slaughter's at 152 bucks. That's freaking awesome. It makes me think that's going to go for 300, 350. And I got about 4 of those signed last year at a convention. My buddy Robert out in Tennessee did it for me. So here's the next one that I'm really excited about. The Vern Gagne. It's at 380. So this is going to be a big boy card. It's at 380. It looks like it's been graded a 7, not the autograph, but the card. And you know, not the best signature of all time, but that's pretty good. That's solid. You know, obviously, ideally, you'd want like a thinner marker where it wasn't so fat. But hey, beggars can't be what is it? Beggars can't be choosers. I don't even remember the saying. Something like that. I think that's it. We'll just go with that. If that's not it, we'll just say that that's it. But this would be great. Mr. Gagne's been has passed on for years and years and years and years. Amazing addition to anyone's collection, anyone that can get this card. So this one right here, this next one is going to probably be my number 1, with the J Strongbow being a number 2. Bobby the Brain Heenan, absolutely love this card. It's in a full service slab, has the year, has the number, authenticated. The signature is really good. So yeah, this is going to be one that I'm going to go heavy on. Even if I get the Gagne for some stupid price, this is one I really, really want. I have a lot of memories watching Bobby the Brain Heenan as a manager and as an announcer as a kid. So super cool. Les Thornton, I don't know too much about him. I don't have a Les Thornton autograph, but won't be going after this. Once again, just simply out of money. I don't have enough money to go after every single thing I want. Now, how's this one, man? Adrian Adonis. Now, I won't be going after this. Man, would I freaking love this. And there's another card I'm going to show you at the very end. Monsters. Absolute freaking monsters. Which this what I'd call the little monster out of the 2. Look at this signature. It's absolutely gorgeous. And Mr. Adonis, like so many of these other guys, have passed on so freaking long ago that you just don't see these things very often. They don't come up very often. A lot of times people will buy them and they'll just stay in their safe or stay in their collection for eternity until they want to cash in their chips, you know. And I have a feeling that's what this eBay seller, this gentleman's doing. He's kind of cashing in his chips, and he's really picked a good time to do it. So this one's already over $1,000. Next, Jesse Ventura's 151 bucks. I got some cards I'm sending to a signing for him later on next year. Next, this guy's a freaking absolute scum of the earth turd. Look him up. You'll see what I'm talking about. His name's Buck Zomhoff, I believe it's pronounced. This is going to be one I am going to go after. I'm not proud. It's not something I would boast on social media and all that. But as a completionist, I think it'll be low-hanging fruit enough that I'd be able to get it. It'd be one of those, if I won, I'd show it off in a YouTube video and it would stay in the safe and just be locked away. I wouldn't be bragging to people that I have this piece of crap's freaking signature. But like I said, my goal in long game is to have one of everybody I can get. And so you kind of need that one. Jimmy Valiant, he does signings all the time. I have a bunch of him. Mr. Steve Kern does TTM, and he's on the signing scene. I got a couple of him. Iron Sheik, same thing. He doesn't do a ton of signings. He does 2 or 3 a year. Won't be going after that. Here's the next one I'll be going after is the Buck Robley. So it's only 36 bucks, which is kind of attractive to me. Great signature. Full service slab. So hopefully it doesn't take more than like 150 bucks to win that one, but we'll see. I would like to get this Bobby Duncan. Word on the street is he's in kind of poor health, and He doesn't really leave his house much or anything like that. Um, but it's at 244 bucks. Great signature. It does run off the card, so it wouldn't get a 10 on the signature. Um, but cool card nonetheless. Mike George, word on the street is he's doing a signing soon, so I won't be doing that. Look at this one, Dino Bravo. Really, really young Dino Bravo here. I've had a couple buddies reach out to me, ask me if I was going to go after this one, so they could go. They wanted to go after it, and then they kind of backed out. And so I don't know if I'm going to go after this one or not. I don't think I'm going to have money at this point. I really don't. But this is just a beautiful signature, man, of a really, really legendary wrestler. 785 bucks. Byron Von Raschke, great TTMer, $5, guaranteed signature. That's at 77 bucks. Here's another one that I really, really would like to go after. Bobo Brazil, not the greatest signature. You can see right here, it's extremely streaky. But like I said, broken record here, these things just don't come up very often. And I would say he's an iconic wrestler, past the legendary status in my mind. So really, really awesome. Whoever gets this one, man, this is one hell of a piece to have in your collection for sure. Greg the Hammer Valentine, I think I have like 6 of these out at a signing right now. It should be back any day. So that's at 91 bucks. And that's kind of one thing I haven't really talked too much about with these cards is even these guys that are alive and doing signings. I mean, you are seeing these things right now with 8 hours to go, and most of them are over 100 bucks. If you watch my interview with Mr. Rob England that we did a little bit ago, I just think the sky is the limit. I think we're still at the low end of where these things are at. The card hobby in wrestling is built on these sets, in my opinion. I don't want to get anyone all sideways, but I think we're at the basement of pricing here. I really do. Joyce Grable, I was told she's going to be doing a signing. Nothing's really happened there. I don't know. Coco Beware, $71. This one's pretty cool. I won't go after it, but it's pretty cool because he signed it as Sweet Brown Sugar, which is his gimmick name on the card. And then he signed it as Coco Beware. So I've gotten him a couple times via TTM with this card. I don't think any of mine are like this, but that's super cool. I like it. Won't be going after it, but I like it. Dirty Dutch Mantel, he does signings here and there. Here's the last card I can honestly say I'll be going heavy after, and that is the Captain Lou Albano. I didn't know till a couple weeks ago when I was doing some research on different wrestlers. I find myself doing that a lot now. I just enjoy it, learning a lot about the sport in the early days, and really I would say early 80s and earlier. I was born in 82, so I'll get to like 82 and current at some time down the road. But I'm really learning a lot about these pioneers, and it's just been great. It's just been awesome. But I learned that he was Mario in Mario Brothers, the movie that came out like in the mid or late 80s. So I thought that was pretty funny and interesting. I don't think that adds any value to the card, but it's pretty cool. Definitely adds value to the person. So we'll go after that one. It kind of stinks. It's in a Beckett slab, but I'd rather have it in a Beckett slab than not have it at all. But this is that last monster I was telling you about right here. The Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich. Holy guacamole, would you look at this. 8 hours and 51 minutes left, and it's at $3,860. And if you would look at this, the signature is not the greatest, y'all. Mr. David Peck put something on his Twitter that all eyes in the wrestling card community were looking at this card. I don't disagree with him, but man, there was 1 or 2 guys that commented on his tweet and showed pictures of theirs, and man, this one particular was just gorgeous, man. I mean, it looked like Kerry just signed it. man, it was beautiful. And I'm like, my Lord, if this is going for almost $4,000, which I imagine it'll probably go for 45 to 5,000, could be way wrong. I could only imagine how much that gentleman's card goes for that's signed beautifully. And his was like, I think it was dual graded, the autograph and the card. So, yeah, just a ton of monsters this particular round. So I don't know if I just go all in. I haven't really figured out my plays here. I don't know if I'm just going to go all in and break the bank, or if I'm going to try to be a little bit more reserved, not knowing if there's another round coming. So we'll see. I got 8 hours to decide. So just to recap, I have kind of cards in my first tier that I really want and cards in my second tier that I really want, and then the rest. So the ones that I absolutely am going to go crazy over is the Chief J Strongbow, the Bobby Heenan, and the Lou Albano. Those are going to be the ones that I'm probably going to bid stupid on because I really want them. And then right behind those, kind of my second tier, is another three, and that's Special Delivery Jones, SD Jones, Vern Gagne, and Bobo Brazil. And then the rest, I got them written down here in front of me. That's what I'm reading. The Buck Zumhoff, the Buck Robley, Bobby Duncan, Dino Bravo. We'll see what happens. We'll see how the money situation is. And I am going to be following along with that Kerry Von Erich. I really want to see what that goes for. I'd like to get it documented on this video, just so years down the road we can kind of see what it went for then. So we'll see, man. So the next little clip it should be Chief J Strongbow. That didn't go as planned. So let me fill you in on a little story. So all those auctions that we just got done talking about were ending at around 6:30 or so. So I actually left work at 6. I work nights. Told my coworker, hey, I'd be back in a couple hours. So I was here and I was in the seat, ready to rock and roll. I had all my StreamYard windows open and all that. And Tiff just got done making dinner. And we have 4 kids, all the way from freshmen in college to still in elementary school. So it's like the dinner bell rings, and everyone comes running. And so we have 3 boys, and they just can't be around each other without butting heads and fighting and talking crap and yelling and screaming. And I was just like, you know what, man, it's not that important to make the videos. So instead of yelling at them, telling them to be quiet and all that, I was like, oh, I'll just scratch it and try to make a better recap video and storytelling and so on and so forth. So here we go. Before I start showing all of what sold and what did we win and what did we lose and all that, I would say I definitely noticed a significant difference in bidding this time than last time. I think people weren't ready last time for the 83s. I mean, how could you? You just never know what's going to pop them on eBay. I think people weren't ready. And it felt like more people were ready this round, financially, I'm talking, because there were some big bids, stuff that I was just blown away, man. Like, had no idea it would go for some of the prices it did. So let's just go ahead and jump on into it. So everything you see on the screen is sold listings, and we'll kind of talk about some of them as we go. Excuse me, it's about 1 a.m. here. So the first one you see there at the very bottom is kind of going in reverse order. The first one you see there is the Rick Martel for $393. I'm really surprised that went for that much. Of course, we talked, Rick Martel doesn't do a lot of signings. He just recently did one. It's my understanding it's like the first one in 10 plus years. So that's really good, in my opinion, for that card. As far as a high value, I don't think it's the greatest deal, basically kind of what I'm getting at. being that I have 8 of them unslabbed, I'm really happy that went for that price. Next, the Tony Gurria for 138. Once again, a very this is a low end wrestler. A lot of people don't know a lot about him. That's what I mean by low end. I mean, he was a phenomenal athlete, but a lower end like name is what I'm getting at. And so 138, I was actually surprised he's still alive and well and in really good health. Um, Once again, happy with that. The Bob Rope, I was actually really surprised on. Another smaller name you don't hear a lot about. He's alive and well, doing great. Um, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm looking in the wrong places, but I haven't seen a whole lot of his stuff. So I was really kind of surprised on how low that went. Moving on to the next 3.5 here. So the Greg Gagne, that was the one I talked about that they say he signs TTM, which I'm really surprised it went for 293. I couldn't believe it. And next, Jumpin' Jim Brunzil, 129. I would say that was expected for what I would have guessed. So here was the first one that I said I wanted, and if you see here on the screen, it says I won this. I won this auction, which I did, and the bidding on this one was really, really bonkers. I just remember it being around, low 200s or so, mid 200s, and then it was like it wasn't like huge significant jumps, but it was like a bunch of people just like little bitty bids, like minimum bids. And as the seconds wound down, I just kept cruising. So really, really happy to add this to the collection. I think this is a really, really nice piece. Next is the CD Jones. I did not get this one. It blew me away that it went for 766. My jaw dropped. I think I was bidding. I even went really big on this one around. I was low 700s, but I threw that out there like as a stupid bid, like as a kind of a blanket, as in like, oh, I know I'll get this if I bid this. And when I didn't, I was just blown away. I couldn't believe that it went for that much. The Brad Reigns, once again, a lesser known wrestler. I don't know a lot about him. I believe he's alive and well and in good health and all that, but kind of surprised it was, there. I was kind of expecting like 150, 160. So in my opinion, there were some bargains to be had, but not a ton. Right here, Killer Khan 361. That would have been over what I would have guessed. Now, the Ricky the Dragon Steamboat for 125 really baffled me. I felt like that was really, really low. He's just such an icon in the sport of wrestling. The only thing I could think is that the signature is kind of in a flat black marker, very fat signature. It doesn't really pop the best, but it had 27 bids for 125. Moving on. So next is Paul Orndorff, 255. Really surprised it only went for that. Mr. Orndorff just passed away, I think, less than 6 months ago or so. And I don't know, I was just really shocked that it only went for that. Tito Santana, 163. Sergeant Slaughter, 230. So here is the kind of the next one in our second phase that we kind of wanted. The Vern Gagne for 886, man. I couldn't believe it. This is one that after I seen what happened to the SD Jones, I was like, you know what, I'm going to be stupid on this one. And I was the underbidder on this. I forget the exact number, but I mean, I was there. If I wasn't the underbidder, I was right under him. I think I was at 875. And once it said the auction was over and the bar was red across it, I was like, any minute it's going to turn green. Any minute it's going to turn green. And it didn't. And I was like, oh my God, I just couldn't believe it. Moving on, the Bobby the Brain Heenan for 788. You know, that was on the list of the top 3 cards I wanted. And this is a card that I won. I did win this card. Um, Once again, the Vern Gagne just happened at 886. These are all like 1-2 minute apart. Like they're not very far apart. I kind of already had in my mind, I lost out on the Gagne, I lost out on the SD Jones, and I think I laid out like 885 or something like that, high 80s. Really, really, really pumped to be able to get Mr. Bobby the Brain Heenan in the collection. I think really cool. I feel kind of honored. I don't want to sound cheesy, but I feel very honored to have that in the collection. You just don't see a lot of those floating around. Next, Les Thornton. So this is a dude. I don't know a lot about him. Actually, I don't know anything about him, to be honest with you. So when this went for 675, my freaking jaw dropped. I was like, I couldn't believe it. So I need to go back and find out what's up with this gentleman and what's his story and what drove this price to that. Excuse me. Like I said, it's like 1 in the morning. Next, the Adrian Adonis. This is one I couldn't believe, man. Absolutely could not freaking believe. So with like 2 or 3 hours left, something like that, it was at like $2,010, something along those lines. And then something happened, like with 10 minutes left or 20 minutes left, and it went down. I didn't think you could retract a bid like within that close of the auction ending, but the price went down. And so it was at this price right here, $2,001, for like 15 minutes. And I was watching this one, not to bid, because I already knew at $2,000 I was out. But I was like, okay, let's see. And this was one of the very, very few cards where no one bid on it at the end. Very interesting auction, I think. Very, very awesome card. Whoever has that in their collection now is a lucky collector for sure. Next is Jesse Ventura for 186. I'm actually surprised it didn't go for more. Like I said, kind of in the intro, I had some Jesse Ventura cards that I'm going to be getting signed in the future, and here they are. So hopefully all these will have ink on them within the coming months. Moving on to the Buck Zumhoff. Like I said, this was a card that I kind of wanted to go after from a completionist standpoint. Not a fan of the person. I don't know anything about the wrestler. I know they call him I believe it's Buck Rock and Roll Zumhoff, which at the time of the intro, I didn't know what the RR stood for, so I did some more research, and I guess that's what it means. This is one that I did win. I did win this for $250. Jimmy Valiant, 125. Steve Kern, $100. I'd say not really surprised at those prices. I think that's Johnny on the spot. I don't think anyone got a deal or overpaid or underpaid at those prices. The Iron Sheik, I was actually kind of surprised that it went for $257. I was expecting just a little bit more, like $280, maybe very, very low 300s. Kind of surprised me that it was at $257. At this point of the auction, I've only won like 3, and I was kind of like, dang it, dude, like I want to start getting some of these guys, because at this point I've already lost out on a bunch of auctions, and I was getting very frustrated. And kind of like I talked about in the first video like this, I was joking around about win-loss records, wanting to be able to win more cards than I lost. And that wasn't the case here. I got smoked. I ended up winning 4 cards, and we'll get to the other one here shortly. And I just couldn't believe what some of these prices were going for. This is one I went after. I'm wanting to say my bid was somewhere in the high. No, mine was 3.25. I was around there. Um, just shocked the hell out of me that it went for 368. The Bobby Duncan. This is one that I have no idea. Like, it's essentially $700, $698. Couldn't believe it. This would be, I'd say, in like the top 5 of my shocked that it went for that price. Another wrestler I don't know a ton about, but I was just like, oh my gosh, 700 freaking dollars. I couldn't believe it. Excuse me. Mike George, $70. I believe that's the cheapest card in the entire auction. Next, Dino Bravo, man. So $1,625. Beautiful signature. I had no idea. I was going to guess that it was going to go for like 800, 900, but with like hours left, it was already over 1,000. And I was like, holy smokes, I couldn't believe it. Byron Van Roschke. So I was actually surprised. It went for 133, but part of that might be, so this auction ended, what was that, Monday night. And on Saturday, Byron Von Raschke did a kind of a cameo in the AEW pay-per-view. I forget the wrestler, but he put the claw on him, and they did a real cool piece on him just there real briefly. And I kind of felt like that might have drove maybe a couple dollars here, compared to how some of these other lower named wrestlers was. I was actually kind of surprised it went by that, personally. And he signs TTM. He's awesome. Bobo Brazil. This is one that this was the first card, a Wrestling All-Star card, that I bid over $1,000. My bid was $1,100, and I had no idea. I honestly didn't think that was going to get it, and it didn't. $1,514. My freaking jaw dropped. I could not believe it. Moving on, Greg the Hammer Valentine for $140. It seems about right. Joyce Grable, $70. Was she cheaper than 7069? They're both 769, 7069. So once again, one of the lower ones, or tied for the lowest one. Coco Beware, 127. Dutch Mantel, 170. Excuse me, 107. And then right here, this one was incredible, man. The bidding on this thing was insane. Kerry Von Erich, it's just graded authentic on the signature, $6,255. Whoa, man. I'm talking, whoa, 51 bids. And if I click on it, it's going to open up a new screen and you won't be able to see it. But the signature is not really that great. I mean, it's really not. It's pretty streaky. It's very faint in certain places. Let me see if I can check this out. There was one more card in this auction, and it didn't show up in my search here because it's an 83 Wrestling All-Star, and that's it right there. The Captain Lou Albano went for $372. That was one of the 3 that I really wanted, and I got that one as well. So I was 3 for 3 on the cards that I really want to secure for the collection: the Lou Albano, the Bobby Heenan, and the Jay Strongbow. So all of those are coming home, as well as the Buck Zumhoff. My total, just for transparency, after taxes and all that, was something along the lines of like $2,000 $70. So let's get rid of this. Those things went for a freaking for a mint, man. I couldn't believe it. It kind of makes me nervous as far as if there's another round or not, as far as the 1982 Series A. That's the one series that this eBay seller or this collector hasn't posted yet on eBay. So I'm really interested to see what he's going to be doing with that, if he's going to be doing anything with that, because next week is Thanksgiving. I don't think that would be the best to do it then, but I do think it'd be smart to do it before Christmas. You know, people have a lot of money, or not a lot of money. People are looking to spend a lot of money this time of year for gifts, and I know a lot of people in the card collecting community that would love some of those for Christmas, including this guy. So that is that. I apologize for not being able to do the snippets. I have every intention, if there's another round of this, to do it again. I think it's incredibly fun. So till next time, adios, be safe, bye-bye.